Number 3. Heard Island and McDonald Islands. You may never have heard of Heard Island and the McDonald Islands. That changed suddenly on April 2nd, 2025, when U.S. President Donald Trump announced a reciprocal tariff policy and unexpectedly included this uninhabited territory in a 10% tariff list, propelling it into the public spotlight. These islands are an external territory of Australia, located in the southern Indian Ocean between Madagascar and Antarctica. They lie about 4,100 kilometers southwest of Perth, Australia, and 450 kilometers from the nearest land, the French Kerguelen Islands. Within a 3,700-kilometer radius, there is virtually no other land, making them one of the most remote island groups on Earth. Together, the islands cover 372 square kilometers with 101.9 kilometers of coastline. Though small in area, they contain extraordinary natural power and immense scientific value. Heard Island and the McDonald Islands are the only territories of Australia that contain active volcanoes. On Heard Island stands Mawson Peak, rising to 2,745 meters, the highest mountain in all of Australia's territories and sovereign lands, excluding disputed Antarctic claims. Mawson Peak is an active volcano that has erupted for long periods, while nearby McDonald Island awakened in 1992 after centuries of dormancy and has erupted repeatedly since, even reshaping its own landscape after 2005. This intense and frequent volcanic activity provides geologists with a natural laboratory to study Earth's crustal movements while constantly altering the island's size and topography. Stepping onto Heard Island feels like entering a world where fire and ice coexist. The island's central massif is girdled by 41 glaciers, with ice up to 150 meters thick stretching from the summit all the way to the sea, forming sheer cliffs that make landing by boat extremely difficult. The only way to reach the islands is by ship from Australia, a voyage of nearly 2 weeks across rough seas. The climate is equally severe. Even in summer, average temperatures are only about 5 degrees Celsius, while in winter they remain well below freezing. Ferocious westerly winds, heavy cloud cover, and frequent snow create a restless and storm-laden sky. Gusts in Atlas Cove have been recorded at 180 kilometers per hour, and annual precipitation ranges between 1,300 and 1,900 millimeters, making it a storm-lashed polar wilderness. Yet in such harshness, life persists. Heard Island supports 18 species of vascular plants, 42 mosses, and 50 lichens, while even the volcanically active McDonald Islands harbor small but resilient plant life. The islands are also critical breeding grounds for southern elephant seals and Antarctic fur seals, as well as for large penguin colonies, including king penguins, Jenna penguins, and macaroni penguins. In 1997, UNESCO inscribed Heard Island and McDonald Islands as a World Heritage Site, recognizing their unique ecological and geological significance. Number 2. Cape Melville. Cape Melville, part of Cape Melville National Park in Queensland, Australia, lies along the western side of Princess Charlotte Bay. It is surrounded by smaller islands, such as Peapon Island 6 kilometers to the north, Howick Island 2 kilometers to the east, and Flinders Island further to the northwest. All of these belong to the world-famous Great Barrier Reef Marine Park. Cape Melville is not only scenic, but also a natural treasure trove for geology and ecology. What makes Cape Melville most striking are the massive granite boulders formed about 2.5 million years ago. These rock formations, unusual in structure, have become natural guardians of the land. They prevent the spread of wildfires, trap moisture, and create an ideal environment for a pocket of ancient rainforest to endure. Within this secluded, perpetually damp enclave, species have survived in isolation, untouched by the outside world. Scientists call Cape Melville a lost world. In March 2013, a team of scientists and documentary filmmakers ventured deep into the Cape Melville Range, shrouded in mist. They were among the very few humans to set foot in this hidden rainforest core. There, they discovered species entirely new to science, never before seen or recorded. These included the Cape Melville leaf-tailed gecko, with its flattened body and extraordinary camouflage, the Cape Melville shade skink, a small lizard dwelling in moist crevices, and amphibians such as the blotched boulder frog and Cape Melville tree frog. These creatures live in rocky pools and moss, highly sensitive to any disturbance. Because of the rugged terrain and constant humidity, they have existed here for millions of years with little evolutionary change, offering a living window into ancient ecosystems. Plant life here is also remarkable. Among the most notable is the foxtail palm, native to Cape Melville, with its elegant fronds resembling a fox's tail. These palms and other endemic plants developed in isolation, sustaining a balanced microecosystem. This raises questions. Could there be other hidden time capsules like Cape Melville across the globe, where ancient species quietly endure? Today, Cape Melville remains largely untouched due to its sensitivity and inaccessibility. Ordinary tourists cannot easily enter, which has helped preserve its pristine state. Every scientific expedition here is invaluable, and perhaps in the future, new species and mysteries will continue to emerge from its granite labyrinth. Number 1. Severnaya Zemlya, the Northern Land Islands. In the vast Arctic Ocean lies a land forgotten by time and unknown to humankind until little more than a century ago. Known as Severnaya Zemlya, or the Northern Land Islands, it was only discovered in 1913, making it one of the last major landmasses on Earth to enter human awareness. This remote archipelago lies north of Russia's Taimyr Peninsula, straddling the Kara Sea and Laptev Sea. It consists of 4 large islands and over 70 smaller ones, covering about 37,600 square kilometers. There are no permanent residents. The islands remain uninhabited and fall under the administration of Russia's Krasnoyarsk Krai. For decades, their severe climate and isolated location kept them off the world's map. During the Soviet era, Severnaya Zemlya was even classified as a military zone, with some areas still obscured in satellite images today, adding to its aura of mystery. From 1930 to 1932, Soviet explorers Georgy Ushakov and Nikolai Urvantsev led an expedition that systematically mapped and named the islands. The 4 main islands were christened with political symbolism: October Revolution Island, Bolshevik Island, Komsomolets Island, and Pioneer Island, each reflecting Soviet ideological milestones. Komsomolets Island, the northernmost, covers 8,812 square kilometers and holds Russia's largest ice cap, the Academy of Sciences Glacier, with its highest point rising 780 meters above sea level. Over 65% of the island is permanently ice-covered, with barren rock and glacial silence defining its atmosphere. Its northern tip, Cape Arctic, has long served as a starting point for polar expeditions to the south lies Bolshevik Island, the second largest at 11,270 square kilometers and closest to the mainland. Mountainous and rugged, its highest peak reaches 935 meters, and roughly 30% of the island remains glaciated. 3 major glacier systems dominate its terrain, while fjords along the northwest coast create an austere polar seascape of ice and water. Here stands a Russian research station, the closest thing to a permanent human presence on the archipelago. Why does Severnaya Zemlya remain uninhabited? The answer lies in its brutal conditions: year-round freezing temperatures, thick ice cover, lack of infrastructure, and extreme Arctic storms make permanent settlement nearly impossible. Yet despite its emptiness, the islands hold strategic and scientific importance, serving as a key site for climate research, polar exploration, and geopolitical interests. Thus ends the story of the 10 most isolated places on Earth. Which of these left the deepest impression on you? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey, remember to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next episode.